Imagine thunder rolling across a summer night in 1881, so close you can taste the metal in the air. The streets of Washington, D.C., glisten with rain. Gas lamps flicker, catching glimpses of a figure sprinting through the storm. Clutching something small and alive in his trembling hands, that man is James McAllister, a physician whose mind hums with ideas the world isn't ready for. Behind him, lightning rips the sky like a divine judgment, searing his silhouette against the wet cobblestone. Inside his satchel, a vial glowing faintly blue. Something not yet of this earth. James isn't just running from the rain. He's running from what he created. Cut to the White House, a candlelight meeting between President James Garfield and his closest advisor, Matthew Claiborne. Garfield's voice trembles, not with fear, but conviction. Matthew, they call it electric resurrection. If it works, it could change medicine forever. Outside, lightning splits the heavens again, and just a few miles away, a man watches from the shadows. Charles Denham, a journalist obsessed with power, secrets, and revenge. That night, fate, ambition, and storm collide, and what follows would be remembered for generations as death by lightning. Let's rewind 3 days earlier. Washington is stifling hot, the kind of summer heat that sticks to your skin like guilt. The newspapers are buzzing about Garfield's reforms and the tension in Congress, but behind the political headlines, whispers spread of something stranger, rumors of experiments happening beneath the Naval Observatory. Something about using lightning to restart a stopped heart. James McAllister is there, knee-deep in copper coils and glass tubes, his shirt soaked in sweat. Across from him, Michael O'Rourke, a weary Irish engineer, adjusts a machine humming with static energy. Michael, James, you're telling me this contraption could bring back the dead. James, not the dead, Michael, the nearly dead. Electricity isn't just power, it's life. That's the line he'll regret for the rest of his life, because upstairs, in the dark hallways of power, President Garfield has been persuaded to watch the demonstration. He's not a scientist, but he believes in progress. He's a man who reads Darwin, who believes humanity can evolve if it dares. But sitting beside him is Charles Denham, scribbling every word, every flicker of light. He smells a story that could make him famous, or destroy the president. The demonstration begins. Lightning rods mounted on the roof catch the first sparks of a brewing storm. The machine roars. Copper wires crackle blue. And on the table lies a dead dog, lifeless, still, a test subject named Argus. James whispering, "Come on, boy, just breathe." Then, boom, lightning strikes the conductor. Sparks explode. The air fills with ozone and heat. For one terrifying second, Argus jerks to life, eyes snapping open, chest heaving. The crowd gasps, and then, silence. Argus collapses again, dead. President Garfield stands, stunned. "You're onto something," he says softly. "But you need time." Charles, however, smiles that wicked journalist smile. "Or maybe, you're playing God, Mr. President." Over the next 2 days, word leaks. Frankenstein in Washington. Blair's one headline. Garfield is mocked as the resurrection president. Public faith wavers. Meanwhile, James can't sleep. The vial of luminescent serum he crafted pulses faintly in his lab, like a heartbeat in glass. He knows it worked, almost. He just needs one more surge of power. One more strike of lightning. That's when fate decides to test him. The weather reports warn of a coming storm, a storm like no other. The same night, Garfield plans to make a public address about his electric life initiative, and in the shadows, Charles Denham is planning something far darker than an expo's. Rain pelts the White House roof as Garfield rehearses his speech. James watches from backstage, guilt crawling across his conscience. Lightning flickers across the Potomac. Then, just as the clock hits midnight, the lights die, thunder rolls, deafening. And for a split second, James sees something outside. A figure illuminated by lightning, standing near the conductor tower. Holding a metallic device pointed right at them, Charles Denham, and behind him, the storm answers his call. They thought they could control the power of life itself. But lightning doesn't take sides. If you were James, standing in that storm, watching your invention turn deadly, would you stop the experiment or let history decide what happens next? Tell me in the comments.
Hey there, my wonderful family and friends. Welcome back. If you're ready to dive into today's story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments where you're tuning in from. I love seeing where everyone's watching. And guess what? There's another amazing story coming your way tomorrow. One you definitely don't want to miss. Alright then, let's get started.
The storm hasn't moved for hours. It sits over Washington like a living thing, breathing thunder into every window. Inside the White House, the Great Hall flickers with candlelight. President James Garfield paces, his reflection darting between the tall glass windows like a ghost already half-remembered at his side. Matthew Claiborne speaks low, urgent. Sir, the people are nervous. They say lightning killed those men in Baltimore last week. They say this storm is a sign. Garfield doesn't answer right away. He touches the telegram on his desk, its paper still warm from the wire. It's from James McAllister, the serum is ready. One final test could prove everything. Midnight. Garfield folds the note carefully, as if it were scripture. Matthew. Every discovery looks like blasphemy before it becomes progress. That's when the thunder cracks again. So loud it feels like the earth itself just snapped in half. And right here, folks, this is where it all starts to go wrong, down in the sub-level lab beneath the observatory. James McAllister and Michael O'Rourke are setting up the largest electrical rig ever built in America. Wires as thick as your arm, glass coils the size of barrels. The machine hums like a sleeping god. Michael, if this doesn't work, the president will hang us both. James, if it does work, Michael, he'll never die. But neither of them notice Charles Denham slip through the back door, his coat dripping with rain. In his pocket, an early detonator device, one he stole from a military test site. A single twist of its dial could reroute the lightning's path. Charles whispering to himself, let's see what happens when the hand of God hits a president. Upstairs, Garfield begins his public address. The room is packed with senators, soldiers, and reporters. The smell of ozone is thick, like a storm trapped indoors. Garfield to the audience. Tonight, we show the world that death is not the end. That lightning, the same force that splits trees and powers cities, can also heal. You can almost hear the audience holding its breath. Meanwhile, beneath the stage, James connects the last of the copper lines. Sweat rolls down his face. The serum in the vial pulses brighter, its glow synchronized with the lightning outside. James to himself, come on, just one perfect strike. Then, through a vent, he hears Garfield's voice echo, let us begin, and that's when everything happens at once. Thunder explodes, the air pressure drops, and then, a bolt of pure white light tears through the sky, slamming straight into the observatory's conductor. The energy surges through the wires, down into the serum chamber, the vial shatters. The serum sprays over the equipment, igniting blue arcs of lightning that crawl across the floor like living serpents. James shouts, kill the power. Michael reaches for the lever, too late. The blast sends them flying. Above them, the hall erupts in chaos. Sparks rain down. The chandelier bursts. People scream as a sheet of light blinds the room, and in that instant, Garfield collapses, the light fades. Smoke fills the hall. A silence so deep it feels eternal. James stumbles from the wreckage below, his coat cinched, his face pale. He looks up and sees the president motionless on the floor, Matthew kneeling beside him, shouting for help. Matthew, he's not breathing. James, what have you done? James rushes forward, pressing his ear to Garfield's chest. Nothing, his heart silent. Then, suddenly, a twitch, the president's eyes flutter open. His chest rises, he gasps once, violently, like a man pulled from drowning. The crowd erupts. Shouts of "it worked" fill the room, but when Garfield sits up, his eyes look wrong. Too wide, too bright. Like lightning still dances behind them. Garfield softly. Do you hear it? Matthew. Hear what, sir? Garfield. The thunder. It's inside me. At this point, Everyone thinks they've just witnessed a miracle. A man, dead for nearly 2 minutes, brought back to life by lightning. But if you look closely, Garfield isn't the same. Eyewitnesses said his voice echoed strangely, as if carried on static. That the air around him felt charged every time he moved, and down in the wrecked lab, James finds the serum vial completely empty, except for one drop. Pulsing faintly like a living heart, he locks it away, terrified. He knows what no one else does. The storm isn't over. It's inside Garfield now. Later that night, as doctors and staff celebrate, Charles Denham sneaks into the damaged lab. His detonator lies shattered on the floor. He picks it up, staring at it like a mirror reflecting his guilt. Then he notices the faint blue glow seeping from beneath a steel cabinet. The serum droplet. He picks it up. It pulses once in his hand. And he smiles, Charles to himself. If lightning can raise a man, maybe it can control one. Cut to the White House balcony. Garfield stands alone in the rain, his hand gripping the railing hard enough to spark. His veins glow faintly under the skin, like blue lightning trapped inside. He turns toward the clouds, whispering something no one hears. The lightning answers, "If you saw someone come back from the dead right in front of you, would you believe it was a miracle, or would you run?" Drop your thoughts below, because it's about to get darker. Rain hasn't stopped for 2 days. Washington smells like wet copper and fear. In the Oval Office, the curtains stay closed. The staff whispers that the president hasn't slept since the lightning strike. Every time someone touches him, they say they feel a faint jolt, like static electricity that never quite fades. Garfield sits in the dark, staring at his hands. The veins in his wrist flicker with a faint blue shimmer. He presses his palms together, whispering to himself, "I was dead, and now I'm not. What did he put inside me?" This is the moment, right here, where science stops making sense. And something far older, for stranger, takes over, because while Garfield tries to understand what's happening to him, James McAllister is breaking apart. He can't eat, can't sleep. Every time thunder rumbles, his heart races. He's convinced the storm outside is connected to Garfield, that the lightning itself is responding to him somehow. He confides in Michael. "James, when he looked at me last night, it was like he knew my thoughts. I created something I don't understand." "Michael, you didn't create it, James. You just opened the door, and he's right. By the third night, the president begins to hear things. Not voices, vibrations. The ticking of a watch from across the room. The electric hum of a telegraph line 2 blocks away. He calls Matthew Claiborne to his study. "Garfield, do you hear that?" "Matthew, I don't hear anything, sir." "Garfield, exactly. It's too loud to hear." Matthew watches in horror as the lamp beside the desk flickers each time Garfield speaks. "Matthew, James warned us. You shouldn't be alive." "Garfield, nope, Matthew. I'm more alive than any man has ever been, and outside." Another flash of lightning answers his words like applause. Meanwhile, James is scouring through his notes, desperate to reverse the process. He discovers that Garfield's pulse no longer beats at a normal rhythm. It oscillates. Like alternating current, electricity is now part of his biology. He writes a final note in his journal. The serum did not restore life, it fused it with energy. He's not resurrected. He's recharged. Just as he finishes the sentence, a knock rattles his lab door. It's Charles Denham. "Charles, still chasing ghosts, Doctor?" "James, get out, Charles. You have no idea what you're playing with." "Charles, oh, I think I do. You see, I found your little souvenir." He holds up the droplet vial, now sealed in a tiny silver capsule. It pulses faintly, still alive. "Charles, imagine what this could do for me." Before James can react, Charles disappears into the rain, and just like that, the story splits into 2 storms. One inside the White House, where Garfield begins to realize his heart no longer belongs to him, and another in the streets of Washington, where a man with a vial of bottled lightning plans to make himself a god. That night, Charles goes to the telegraph station, the most wired building in the city. He smashes open a circuit box and pours the serum over the copper. The effect is immediate. The wires glow blue, humming like a living thing. Charles laughs until the power surges into his body. For a heartbeat, his eyes blaze white. Sparks leap from his fingertips. The entire city grid flickers, and in the White House, Garfield jolts upright in bed, clutching his chest. The same blue light flickers behind his eyes. They're connected, Garfield gasping. Someone is using my lightning. Thunder detonates across the city. Telegraph poles explode in showers of sparks. The sky turns electric blue as currents dance along rooftops. James and Michael race through the streets toward the station. Rain lashes their faces, water glowing faintly each time lightning flashes. Inside, they find Charles standing amid a circle of fire, his body flickering like a broken bulb. Charles, you tried to cage the power. James, but it was never yours to control. James, you'll kill us all. Charles, then maybe we'll finally live. He slams his hand against the telegraph array, and a surge of energy rips through the city grid. Racing straight toward the White House, inside his chamber, Garfield collapses as lightning bursts through the walls, crawling across the wallpaper in bright veins. His heart beats once, twice, then explodes with light. For a moment, he floats, suspended in midair, surrounded by arcs of energy. Then, silence. The storm outside stops. Every light in the city goes out, and somewhere deep in the darkness, Garfield opens his eyes again. But this time, his pupils glow blue. Garfield whispering, I can feel the storm thinking. What no one realizes yet is that Garfield's body isn't just hosting the lightning anymore. It's becoming it. Every nerve, every spark, wired into the storm itself. And far below, in the flickering remains of the telegraph station, Charles lies motionless, his skin etched with glowing veins. He smiles, whispering the same words Garfield did earlier. Do you hear it? James kneels beside Charles's body. The blue glow fades from his veins, but not before James sees something horrifying. The pattern of the light in Charles's skin matches the lightning veins in Garfield's arms exactly. It's spreading. If you could bring someone back to life, but knew they might come back different, would you still do it? Let me know what you would risk for a miracle. The morning after the blackout, Washington wakes to silence. No clocks ticking, no telegraphs chattering, no lamps burning. The city is paralyzed. People pour into the streets, staring up at a sky still bruised from the storm. The newspapers call it the night the heavens died. Inside the White House, the doors are barred. Matthew Claiborne orders the staff to stay in their quarters. Garfield hasn't left his room. Every few minutes, they hear the faint hum of something unnatural, like a power line buried beneath the floor. James arrives, soaked to the bone. The guards hesitate before letting him in. Rumors have spread that the president's experiment was what caused the blackout. James doesn't deny it. He just asks one question. Is he alive? Matthew nods, but his face says otherwise. He hasn't spoken since the storm stopped. He just sits there, watching the window. When James enters, the air crackles around him. The curtains sway though the windows are closed. Garfield is standing near the glass, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Do you feel it? Garfield asks without turning. Feel what? The current. It doesn't stop. It moves through everything. Through you, through me, through the world. James edges closer. Sir, you need to rest. The experiment. Garfield cuts him off. The experiment worked. I died, and now I understand life. It's not breath that sustains us. It's charge. James takes another step. Your pulse isn't natural. Your body's holding voltage that could kill you. Garfield smiles, a strange, calm smile. It already did. Outside, thunder murmurs again though the sky is clear. Matthew bursts in. Sir, the cabinet's demanding to see you. They think you've gone mad. Garfield turns, and for the first time, both men see it clearly, thin lines of light beneath his skin, pulsing with every heartbeat. Then let them come. They should witness what progress looks like. By evening, the cabinet gathers in the East Room. The air is heavy with tension and the faint metallic smell of ozone. Garfield steps to the podium. For a moment, he looks normal again, calm, presidential. But as he begins to speak, the lamps flicker in rhythm with his words. "My fellow Americans," he begins. "For centuries we've feared death. But what if I told you death is only the body's failure to conduct energy? What if I told you the lightning that strikes us down could also raise us again?" A murmur runs through the room. One senator whispers, "He's lost it." Another crosses himself. Garfield raises a hand, and a spark jumps between his fingers. Gasps ripple through the hall. "This is not blasphemy," he says softly. "This is evolution." Then he lowers his hand, and the entire chandelier bursts into light without a single flame. The room explodes into chaos. Guards rush forward, dragging chairs, shouting orders. Matthew yells for everyone to stand back. Garfield stumbles, clutching his chest. The sparks fade from his skin, replaced by panic. For a brief second, he looks human again. "James," he gasps, "I can't stop it." James grabs him as he falls, feeling a shock that sends pain shooting through his arm. Garfield's body trembles violently. His eyes roll back, glowing pure white. "The storm," he whispers. "It wants to finish what it started." Then he collapses. The chandelier flickers out. When the lights return, Garfield is gone. The guards search the room, but there's no sign of him. Just scorch marks on the floor where he fell. Hours later, reports flood in from the outskirts of the city. A man matching the president's description walking barefoot down Pennsylvania Avenue, clothes smoking, eyes glowing like lightning. Telegraph wires along the road spark as he passes. By dawn, Washington is in lockdown. The army surrounds the Capitol. The official statement claims the president is under medical supervision. Privately, Matthew orders James and Michael to find a way to reverse the process. Whatever it takes. James studies his notes, searching for the equation that started all this. Every formula, every drawing, leads back to the same phrase scribbled in the margins. Life equals current. Michael shakes his head. "You can't drain a storm. You can only wait for it to burn itself out." James looks up, haunted. "Then he'll die again." Maybe that's what he wants. Outside, thunder returns even though the skies are still clear. This time, it's closer. At that exact moment, in a farmhouse 2 miles outside the city, a farmer swears he sees lightning strike the ground without a cloud in the sky, and from the smoke, a man walks out. His face is pale. His hair glows faintly at the tips. It's Garfield. He falls to his knees in the mud, clawing at the earth like a man digging his own grave. The ground around him hisses, steam rising where raindrops meet the heat of his skin. "I can't stop it," he whispers to no one. "It's feeding on me." When he stands again, his eyes are empty. His heart is beating, but it no longer sounds human. It hums like machinery. By nightfall, the White House receives a single telegram, words burned into the paper by static. The lightning is awake. James reads it aloud, his hands shaking. "He's not dying," he says quietly. "He's evolving." Outside, the clouds roll back in. The storm that had vanished returns, brighter, louder, angrier. Washington braces for another night of thunder, but this time, it isn't nature calling the storm. It's Garfield. By morning, the skies above Washington are black again. The storm doesn't drift or fade. It sits over the Capitol like a crown of smoke and fire. Every lightning strike hits closer than the last, as if the heavens are zeroing in on one man. James hasn't left his lab in 24 hours. His fingers are raw from scribbling equations that no longer make sense. He's tried everything: grounding rods, chemical dampeners, even lead shielding. But Garfield's energy signature keeps surging across the instruments like a pulse the size of a city. Michael bursts in, soaked through. "It's him," he says breathlessly. He's at the Capitol. The two men race into the storm. Rain hits the streets like needles. Every few seconds, a flash reveals soldiers barricading the steps of the Capitol building, rifles trembling in their hands. At the top of the marble stairs stands Garfield, coat ripped open, lightning dancing across his chest like veins of fire. He isn't shouting or raving, he's calm. Too calm. "My brothers," he says to the soldiers, voice echoing like thunder. "Lay down your weapons. You cannot shoot what is already dead." A bolt hits the ground in front of him, throwing 2 men backward. Others scatter. Garfield raises his hand, and the lamps along the street light one by one, glowing brighter than gas could ever burn. "See?" he says. Even the storm recognizes its master. James steps forward. "Sir, please, you're killing the city." Garfield's gaze softens when he sees him. "James, you gave me life. Don't try to take it back. I gave you lightning." James shouts, "But it's taken everything else. You have to let it go." Garfield shakes his head. "It's not mine to let go of." Another blast tears through the square, and suddenly Michael is gone, a streak of light where he stood. James screams, the shock knocking him to the ground. When he looks up, Garfield is kneeling, his body flickering, the air around him trembling with charge. "Do you feel it?" Garfield whispers. "The storm isn't outside us anymore. It's inside everything. Inside everyone." Then his voice changes, lower, distorted, as if another voice is speaking through him. "You cannot destroy what powers the world." James realizes too late what's happening. Garfield isn't possessed by lightning. He's merging with it. The sky explodes in white. When the light fades, Garfield is gone. Only a smoking crater remains where he stood. The soldiers scatter, shouting orders. James staggers to his feet, searching the chaos. But there's nothing, no body, no trace, only static ringing in his ears. Then, through the smoke, he sees a figure standing at the edge of the crater. It's Charles Denham. He should be dead. But he isn't. The veins on his neck glow faintly blue. His eyes are wide with feverish delight. "He's not gone," Charles says. "He's everywhere. Every telegraph, every current, every spark in every wire. You've made him immortal." James lunges at him. "You did this. You turned the serum loose." Charles laughs, unhinged. "I only gave him the network. You gave him the soul." A streak of lightning splits the sky again, and Charles vanishes in the flash. James collapses on the steps, the rain cooling the burns on his hands. The city around him flickers like a dying candle. Telegraph lines spark and die, one after another. For hours, he sits there, listening to the storm howl through the empty streets. When dawn finally comes, the clouds don't clear. The air still hums, and in the distance, the Capitol dome glows faintly blue. He knows then that Garfield isn't gone. He's moved on, to the wires, to the sky, to the very pulse of America itself. The newspapers the next day call it the electric catastrophe. The official story says the president died heroically during an experimental accident. The public never learns the truth. James retreats from the city, disappearing into the countryside. He buries his journals, burns his machines, and swears never to speak of it again. But he can't escape the sound, the faint crackle in the air whenever a storm brews. It follows him everywhere. One night, months later, as he's walking home through a thunderstorm, a telegraph pole beside him sparks. A message burns itself into the wet wood. "We are not finished." He stumbles back, horrified. The light fades, but the words remain burned into the grain. He realizes Garfield isn't just alive. He's awake, and somewhere, deep in the static of the modern world, he's waiting. Years pass. The world moves on. Railways connect cities, telegraphs sing across the country, and electricity becomes the new lifeblood of America. But in every hum of wire, in every flicker of a bulb, James McAllister hears it, the whisper of something alive. He has built a small cabin far from Washington, tucked deep in the Maryland woods. There are no lights here, no wires, no machines. The nights are black and quiet, the way he needs them to be. He lives alone, haunted by a single memory, the moment lightning kissed a dead man's heart and refused to let go. One afternoon, he finds a stranger at his door. The man is older, dressed in a raincoat too fine for the countryside. His hair is silver, but his eyes burn faintly blue. "Name's Matthew Claiborne," the man says softly. "I'm here about the president." James freezes. "He's been dead for 10 years. Matthew nods. "That's what I thought too. But listen, telegraph lines from New York to Chicago went down last night. The operators swear they heard someone speaking through the static. A voice calling itself the current. It gave orders, names, locations. James's stomach turns. What kind of orders? Construction, Matthew says. It told them to build towers. Steel towers. Said it was for progress. But the design, James, it's your handwriting. For a long moment, neither of them speaks. Outside, thunder murmurs in the distance. Faint but coming closer, James goes to the old chest by his bed and opens it. Inside are his original notes, yellowed, brittle, covered in formulas he no longer understands. The last page reads, "Life equals current." Beneath it, a sketch of tall metal spires reaching toward a storm. He slams the lid shut. He's trying to return, he whispers. He's using the network, telegraphs, wires, every connection, to rebuild himself. Matthew stares at him. Then we cut the power. It's too late for that, James says. You'd have to silence the whole country. A low rumble shakes the cabin. The oil lamp flickers though there's no wind. The hairs on their arms rise. The storm has arrived faster than any they've seen. Lightning slashes across the treetops. James grabs his coat. There's one place he'll go. The observatory. That's where it began. They ride through the downpour, the sky flashing like a heartbeat. The observatory stands in ruins, vines curling over its roof. But inside, beneath the dust and broken glass, the old generator still hums faintly, as if waiting for them. The sound builds, faint static at first, then a deep, pulsing voice. James, it's coming from the coils. The voice is Garfield's. You left me in the storm, it says. You buried my heart in the dirt. But lightning never dies. It only travels. James steps forward. You're not Garfield anymore. You're noise. Energy without a soul. The lights flare blue. You gave me life. I gave your world power. Every wire, every current. You built my kingdom. Matthew shouts over the roar. He's in the grid, James. If we overload it, maybe we can burn him out. James pulls the lever on the side of the machine. The coils spark violently. The roof trembles. Rain pours through the holes, mixing with fire. James, the voice warns, you can't destroy me. I am the lightning. I know, James says. That's why I'll die with it. He grabs the live wire with both hands. The shock tears through him, a scream of light filling the room. The generator explodes in a burst of white, the storm outside echoing its fury. For a moment, the entire sky above Washington glows electric blue, then goes dark. When Matthew wakes, the rain has stopped. The observatory is gone, burned to ash. James's body lies near the wreckage, his hands fused to the copper wire. The smell of ozone lingers in the air. In the distance, the city's lights begin to flicker back to life. One by one, the telegraph lines hum again. The storm has passed. Matthew stands there for a long time, hat in hand, listening. Nothing, only the soft hiss of the rain. He whispers a prayer for James and walks away, but as he reaches the road, a faint spark jumps from a broken wire beside him. It buzzes once, whispering something almost human, his name. Then silence. Weeks later, the newspapers announce the birth of a revolutionary new energy network, a plan for electric lines stretching across the nation, carrying power into every home. The blueprints are anonymous, but engineers say they came through the telegraph in bursts of static, as if dictated by the storm itself. The public calls it progress. Matthew knows better. Late at night, when lightning flashes over the city, the lamps flicker for just a second longer than they should. Some swear they see a face in the glass, familiar, proud, and still burning with light. They call it the ghost of the storm. The man who taught America to steal power from heaven, and every time the thunder rolls, somewhere deep in the wires, a voice murmurs the same words. Life equals current. If you could bring someone back to life but risk unleashing something you couldn't control, would you still do it?
Thank you for watching all the way through. If this story moved you, the next one will surprise you in ways you won't expect. Go ahead and click the video on your screen. Your next story awaits.